as pioneers for instituting the process that brought transformation to our country. Thank you.
Mr. Yanton.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you very much, Anthony. Ambassador Tukuyate, once more, you're most welcome. Honorable Louis, we are pleased to have you. I would like to recognize the leadership of the EA chapter and our own host, Mr. Jokera. Also a big thank you to your wife, even though she's not present. But I think it is upon her blessings that we have seen the success of this all-important meeting. Now, we are gathered here in Danbury, a name that I think will go a long way in terms of the historicity of this movement, because this is a very important institution that we hope to build. And one cannot talk about the formation of GAMEF, what we are about in our philosophy, without talking about the history. GAMEF started out of a deep search to reshape fundamentally the Liberian society. As a nation that has gone through long years of civil conflict, as a nation that have witnessed so many different forms of constitutional interruptions, we have seen the rise and fall of different leadership, the rise and fall of different warring factions across our country, and how the effect and aftermath of civil war caused on the generation that is to be looked towards as the future generation. And given our deep search for true and genuine leadership, given our deep search for fundamental change, not just changing the players within the governance and political space of our country, but also changing it alongside with new systems and new ideology that can bring about a better future for this generation and generations to come. We decided that we will take on a new debate. We will reshape fundamentally the narrative from those old discredited narrative about change to a one that is comprehensive, to a one that unifies and reconciles our people. We know that forming any revolutionary or reformist institution is not a child's play. We've been told in history and throughout history that before any institution can present itself to society, it must first close rank. So we decided that we will begin the process of identifying like-minded intellectuals, people who believed beyond themselves in the cause for greater good for Liberia, in that promise of hope for the next generation. We decided that beyond that, we will form a movement that is a representative of the grassroots movement that will help lead the process of reorganizing the grassroots base of our country, that will go beyond just the cosmetic approach of change that is tied towards historically only the elections in Liberia, that in between elections we are able to reorganize the grassroots base of our country. We are able to bring about civic competence among our people. We are able to really give the local citizens the inspiration and the indoctrination needed for them to take charge of their own leadership and their own affairs. Because one of the things that we realized throughout the history of Liberia, especially the last 40 years in our history, that the Liberian presidency is not the problem. Bulk of the problems that we see in Liberia in terms of leadership has got to be with the national legislature. And consistent with Article 1 of our Constitution, all power is inherent in our people. The more we are able to mobilize our people to take ownership of their own affair, the better it is. We have a stronger society that is conscious and very prepared relentlessly to change the way political activists, manages the country. So this is the philosophy of GameF. We believe in a society, a Liberian kind of society, that is people-centered and corrupt-free. But also, we also believe in the economic empowerment of our people. So we want to see a sustained economic environment where prosperity is not just locked up with few individuals at the top. Where prosperity can trickle down to sustained economic programs that empower and benefit our people. We are also a Pan-African movement. We believe in that doctrine of Pan-Africanism. We've learned so much lesson historically from the pages of history. And we see today how Africa is endowed in terms of its young population, in terms of the natural resources that we have, but we're still century back in terms of the leadership productivity of our leaders across capitals, and in terms of how we continuously see footages of young people endlessly trying to cross the Mediterranean and other borders. Sometimes they are made slaves because of the harsh economic conditions of the African people. So at GameF, we believe in this One Africa movement, a movement that is going to champion the dream of people like Kwame Nkrumah for a united Africa. Because we believe that a united Africa today can set the stage for African prosperity tomorrow. And that it is this generation of young, forceful, talented, and resourceful intellectuals that should now take the stand to bring about changes across the continent. And long-serving leaders who have been in power 30 years, 33 years, 40 years, and still see the need to modernize dictatorship in continuity by using their parliaments, their respective parliaments, to circumvent the laws in favor of themselves. So this is the things that we believe in. And we believe that collective action is a recipe for success. So ladies and gentlemen, I present the Grassroots Alternative Movement for Economic Freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Laramayanton, for giving us why GameF. I think you have heard for yourself. As you continue to follow this institution, you will get to know more. At this time, we will touch on overview of the Danbury strategic meeting. And I think we have just accomplished that. So we will go to remarks. Special remarks. We are blessed to have with us Ambassador Mori Kuyati. Sorry about that. We are blessed to have with us Ambassador Mori Kuyati. We will now look up to Mr. Kuyati or Ambassador Kuyati to give us special remarks.
Small guest speaking.
Thank you so much, my brother Jokaira. You know, it's a great honor for me to be here. I would like to thank the Strategic Consultation meeting on the future of Liberia. It is not by chance that I decided to attend this meeting today. Being from Guinea, and I witnessed firsthand, the impact of war, the impact of local decisions impacting other countries, when bad politics come to play. So, I believe that any decision made here will have a greater impact everywhere. And, you should take into account the surrounding countries where you live, because there will be an impact on those countries, when it comes to, any decisions made here. So I just wanted to thank, Jokair and James for actually inviting me. What is trust? Trust is actually following somebody and knowing that, it is the right decision. I have been through, many challenges with James and Jokaya, and I trust these people. I trust James and I trust Jokaya. If they say, Maury, come with me, I'll blindly follow them to wherever they go without even asking any questions. And if they say, Maury, come and be an ambassador, I'll gladly say, yes, let's go. If you say, follow me, I'll follow him through anything. So, it's a great honor for me to be here. And, being from Guinea, African unity is in our DNA. Our national anthem talks about Africans coming together to build a united African nation, coming together and actually putting your hands together to create a future for everybody in Africa and everybody else. So Guinea plays a major role, Nigeria plays a major role, and we just have to come together. But like they say, all politics is local. It starts locally first, and then you have to look at the other countries, the impact of your decisions that are having, on other countries. So, it's a great honor for me, and I would like to officially open the meeting. Thank you, everybody, for inviting me. And we here, the African Immigrant Commission is in the community. We fight for the immigrant community in New York and Connecticut. As far as one of our achievements, we successfully advocated for African Heritage Month in Bridgeport, Connecticut, and the mayor issued a proclamation proclaiming African Heritage Month in Bridgeport, Connecticut. This is something that has never been done before. These are historic stuff, and the African community need a voice. We must engage the politics here as we keep one foot here and one foot back home. So we can do both. It's a balancing act that we must engage, and the diaspora has a major role to play. People like Kwame Nkrumah, they all started in the diaspora. They created a movement, and then they took it back home. So it is critical that the diaspora puts a pressure on the politicians back home to create change. And with our ideas, with our know-how, with all the things that we have learned, we can create change back home. So on that note, I just want to officially open this meeting. I see a lot of serious brothers here and serious sisters, on this panel. It's very encouraging. Because I see a lot of things that are going on. I'm like, people are not serious. They are not serious. The Americans didn't go to the moon by joking around. No. They went to the moon by serious people taking initiatives and making it happen.
Sure.
So you can't have people joking around. You need serious people like my brothers here, that are making things happen. I see them, they're really serious, and this is really encouraging. And I would like to say thank you. Thank you very much.
Ambassador Kuyata, we want to say thank you for the wonderful remarks.